Good evening, everyone. This is July 21st, and this video is actually from today, so it's up to date, I guess you could say. We've been working diligently around the farm. A lot has been going on, but I also had some issues this past week and didn't feel quite up to par. Had to take a couple days off and let my body rest. But I wanted to give everybody a quick update on Serena. So even though I was off a few days, Todd was able to still just lay hands on her. She's been coming in and out of this round pen area. She's also still in our quarantine lot. So she's got a bigger space to get out and stretch her legs and move around. And then we put her in this area, in this round pen to work with her and feed her and stuff. So here you can see we're just playing. Actually, we're really doing our training. So I have been working with her with this really soft, easy lariat. It's very, very gentle. I think it's for like goats or something. I mean, it's like for goat tying or whatever. So it's real soft. And I thought, well, I'm going to try it in a halter format and style to see how it works for her. And she allowed me to don and doff the halter, or the rope, I should say, the loop of the lariat easily. Here you can see I've already put it on her and then put it around her nose, wrapped it around and through there. We did this several times. Later on in this video, you'll see she didn't quite like the halter, the actual rope halter, when I approached her with that. So again, since I haven't had a ton of time to work with her this week, I didn't want to push this session too hard, too fast. And I just focused on getting back to her responding. As you can see, she's following me around. That was all really good. And she wouldn't leave my cameraman alone. So anyway, she was definitely calm and cool and collected this evening. And she just seems to be that way in general. So we're really excited about her training. She's just progressing wonderfully. And she's putting on weight. She seems to be maintaining that weight, which is good. She does seem to have a little bit of a bigger barrel. And as soon as I get her good and halter broke, I'm going to take her to the vet and make sure that she is not pregnant. So, you know, she was part of an unhandled, wild herd. And I don't have any idea how many or when she was exposed, but I'm certain she was exposed to a stallion at some point in time. Again, those of you who don't know her story, she was rounded up, I know that much, and she was brought to an auction in Billings, Montana, where she was then purchased by the people who own Stroud Kilpin and Stroud, Oklahoma, which are the bakers, and brought to their facility for resale. So we saw her and really just, honestly, we fell in love with her. We've been looking for an iron steel gray for a while. We loved the idea of her being a wild horse and unhandled, and so we bought her and brought her home. She was definitely those things. You wouldn't believe me by looking at this, but when we brought her home on May the 9th, I mean, she ran and jumped and was just afraid of us. So I gave her plenty of time. I started her training officially on July the 5th, and I was a little nervous because she had attempted to, turn her butt to us, act like she's going to kick us, picked up her front paws, acted like she was going to paw a couple times. She showed her teeth and pretended, not pretended, but really did try to, wanted to bite us when we would approach her, near her head, her face, anything. So we wanted to give her plenty of time to settle and transition. And it wasn't but like it was 7 days later after we brought her home that we had a pretty large group of rescues come in. So she kind of got thrown into the mix of these other rescues that were unhandled, and since then everybody has done their training and doing well, but Serena kind of got put on the back burner to get the other horses well. They are doing great. They are all in their new homes, and we are finally able to just spend the time we need to with Serena, and I am so proud of her progress. I just love her. So again, her training started July the 5th, and we've had about 6 days off. So this is the progress she's made in 11 days. 11 training sessions, we'll call it that. 11 sessions. So for some people, that might seem like a lot for training, but I'm not pushing this horse, and I'm not pushing myself. We'll put it that way. It's been a long time since I've trained a young horse, and to be quite honest, it's always been with a very domesticated breed, horses that I either raised and had born on my property or purchased when they were weanlings. So they were handled at a very young age. They had a very domesticated start. So with Serena, we don't suspect that. We don't think that's the case. I have a suspicion that she came off of a mountain range out of Montana, and that's where she was rounded up and brought to auction for sale. So, but there's something about this mare, this filly, that is just very, very calm. As you can see here, I'm just gently going with her. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on her. As she responds well, or if she starts to feel a little bit too pushed, I just release. You can see I just give her plenty of rope. I give her some space. I let her back up. I don't yank. I don't pull. I don't try to dominate her. And that's new for me. I'll be totally honest. I've never been a real dominating horseman or horse owner. I've never had that type of horsemanship. However, I was educated that way, I guess you could say. I was trained that way to be a little bit more of a dominating type of trainer and handler. But I've really been working hard on unlearning some things and regrouping. I don't sit around and watch a lot of other trainers. To be totally honest, I watch very few. And I've been just studying Mustangs and wild horses in general. I have a big heart for them right now, and I'm excited. I really like their demeanor. And I like the idea of working with them. Of course, comes a little bit of fear for me because I don't want to get hurt. I'm a mother of 6, and I'm a wife, and I'm a daughter, and so I don't want to be trampled. But I feel like this has been very therapeutic for not only Serena but myself. And she's really beautiful. But over the course of this video, you can see there she started to feel really pressured, and I just did not pull on the rope. I didn't yank on it. I gave her some rope. I just released it and let her back away. And then here, see, she approaches me. So it's really just about a little bit of pressure, a little bit of, asking, and then releasing. Pressure and release. Just kind of repeating that over and over and giving her some space. Oop, okay, camera issues, but here we are, we're back. I let the rope just kind of be on her so she's not nervous about the rope. She hasn't been afraid of the rope the whole time we've been using it. Again, though, she didn't like that rope halter, so I'm not going to push the bar with that right now. She did pretty good with a lot of just response. She watches me well. You can see a couple of the videos and times I'm just snapping my fingers. She'll look at me and pay attention. Of course, she did the licking of the lips, and she even yawned one time. So I could tell she was just very, very relaxed tonight. And that's what this whole video is just working with her. I think I spent about 30 to 35 minutes with her in the round pen. Again, I didn't do a bunch of like hardcore round pen work where she, changed directions and working on her hip responses and things like that. It's just simple, basic, getting used to not feeling afraid of our touch, our words. I muted these videos because the chaos in the background was crazy loud. And at one point I even had to like yell at my whole family and tell them to quiet down. The kids were all over the place. The dogs were barking. We had a puppy that was upset because he was in his kennel or her kennel. And there were cars driving by. One laid on their horn and started honking. Anyway, so I muted the video. And that's why I'm doing this voiceover, because I didn't do a lot of talking. There was just a lot of chaos in the background. I really like the way that she started turning her head and looking at me. See how she just takes a couple steps and I give her one little nudge here. Just want her to take one more step, but she didn't quite want to yet. I think she did, but Enoch accidentally stopped the camera and we had to restart a new video. Here she got pretty upset with me. She backed up quite a bit until she ran into the corral panel. But as you can see, her response is just not aggressive. It's not wild craziness. So she's going to move along pretty quickly, I think, at this point. We're going to start more groundwork, a little bit more intense groundwork once I get a real halter on her and can easily halter and, don and doff that halter with no problems. No questions asked, I guess, is what I'm saying. I mean, I've got older broke horses that absolutely hate to be haltered. They hate to be caught, and we have to go through a whole trick system to get them. But at this point, I'm not going to try to work on retraining them all. There are personal horses, and I'll keep them forever, and I just work with the quirks. So I don't mind that at all. I just kind of have been, as you can see, I just kind of tug, get her attention, see she turns and she gets pets. I really like to touch and keep as much tenderness, or not tenderness, that's not the word, but as much of my energy around that trigeminal nerve area. One of the big accomplishments and exciting points of the night is she let me touch her nose and her muzzle a couple of times without being so aggressive. She did kind of indicate at one point she didn't really like it, but see how she just keeps letting me adjust the rope and it doesn't upset her. And here she gets a little bit aggravated, and I responded. But, I let her know that I'm not here to hurt her. But her nose and her muzzle has been the biggest thing she does not want me to touch, which I found to be crazy interesting. And after researching, reading, and watching a few other Mustang trainers, that tends to be something pretty common in the breed as a whole with what I've seen so far. So again, this breed, this type of horse is new for me. So I'm loving everything that I'm learning. I've worked with gaited horses. I've worked with pleasure horses. I've worked with Arabians. I've worked with Quarter horses, not a lot of performance quarter horses. I didn't ever get into like rodeos or cutting or reining or anything like that. I really enjoy like obstacle challenges and things like that. And I didn't do that officially in an arena because growing up, I didn't have any fancy facility. My dad and I, we trail rode a lot. And that's where we did a ton of obstacles. So, like flags and balls and jumps and things like that. That was all what we did on the trail. Like, you get out and you rode, and we did crossing creeks and jumping logs, and you ride through the woods where there's limbs whacking you all over the place in your horse. So that's what I'm used to being around and training. So working with Mustangs is going to be it's a little new for me. Or wild horses, as I should say, because she's not actually a branded Mustang. She does not have a brand. She does not have a title. She is fully legal. I made sure I contacted the auction where she came from originally. I just wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row, or my P's and Q's, because I didn't want to do anything illegal. And it is perfectly legal. There is a whole different rules and regulations and stipulations with rounding horses up off of reservations. It's totally okay and legal, and they can be taken to auctions where they are checked for a chip, for branding, all of that. And if they do not have any of those things, then they are legal to sell. So that's what we think has happened to Serena. She was rounded up, she was placed at auction, and then sold in the auction world. So I'm very thankful and glad that we were able to get her and pull her from Stroud May 9th, got her home, and allowed her time to settle in and heal. Thank you guys for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and check out our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at 8E Rescue Ranch. Thanks again. Have a good night.